Hello. Today I would like to talk about O.D.E.N, or the omnidirectional elytra nozzle. This is a proof of concept cannon, wind elytra cannon that I built based off of inspiration from uh, non-untitled, I believe, and Unhappy Bean. You may have seen some Minecraft videos floating around about elytra cannons and how they're the new best Minecraft travel method, and I would happen to agree. However, the major caveat for all these cannons is that they only go in one direction. What I aim to do is to make a cannon that isn't exactly pretty and is certainly not the most compact, but would be able to launch you in all four directions, hence the name. So if we take a look at the size of it here and what's going on, you'll see that it's definitely not the prettiest thing in the world. There's a lot of repeating circuits here, and even with trying to make this as connected as possible to try and keep it small, it still ended up growing quite a bit. I'm sure if you put your mind to it, you could definitely compact this down, but this is more of a proof of concept and a prototype than like a super refined product. That being said, it is fully functional. So enough yapping, let's use it, and then we can actually talk about stuff more in depth of how I got it to work and some of the intricacies of O.D.E.N. So I'm going to go in survival just so that makes it a little easier to operate it. And notice there's numbers. These represent the steps of how you should actually use the cannon. So this would represent step 1, step 4, for example. So step 1 is to actually turn it on. And you can't hear it because I have my blocks down, but this is what it would sound like. So I'll spare you guys that. So first we turn it on. Then what we do is we just open and close this chest. It is a trap chest, so it'll send a redstone signal and start loading O.D.E.N. So that'll start spawning the silverfish down there. We'll let it reach like 50 and then we'll actually arm it. And as you can see, that is step 3. And if you take a look here, you'll get a glimpse into how the cannon here is actually working. And part of it is using a dual chamber kind of mechanism here. So you have a holding chamber where the silverfish are actually held, and then you have the kill chamber where they're actually will be killed by the fireworks. So we hit 50 here, let's go ahead and arm it, and that's going to push the majority of the silverfish into the kill chamber, as you see. Now notice that there is 2 silverfish here, it looks like, that got caught in the glass block. Roughly, you'll always have around 5% of your silverfish that will get caught in this glass block, but it's not a problem. Everything in terms of how this is designed ensures that no silverfish that don't get caught in the mechanism don't leak out and attack you or ruin your builds or anything like that. If we go ahead now and turn this off for step 4, before I do that, I'll go ahead and set the tick rate to 5 so you can kind of see what's happening as I do this. While I do that, notice that this opens up and these 2 silverfish fall, and they'll simply just go towards these open trapdoors and fall off themselves naturally, so we don't have to worry about them. Now, step 5 is to unarm it. After we've armed it, we've already loaded the kill chamber, so now we need to actually secure it so that it's O.D.E.N's ready for launch. So we're going to do that, and again I'll show you guys a little bit of what's happening under the hood here. You're going to see a bunch of moving pistons, and we are now secured. And as you see, even in tick rate 5, with the game slowed down by quite a bit, it's so fast that the silverfish won't have a chance to escape the kill chamber even if they try. And that's step 5 done. Now step 6 is finally to launch. So let's set this back to normal game speed. And this is where the big pro of O.D.E.N comes in. You can choose any direction you want to launch, and wherever your heart desires, and it'll do it. So the guide here is when you're actually about to launch, you want to make sure you're looking straight down and try and line your cursor up with the middle of the target block here as best as you can. If you're going this direction, obviously make sure you're not too far right so that you don't get caught in the door. So if you're going this way, I would recommend shifting to the right until you hit the door, and then coming back a little bit so that you know that you won't hit it if you choose to go this way. The way that I'm doing it here is that you activate this pressure plate, and after the third note block plays, it'll play like a note, and then the third note block hits, and then you should walk forward and jump. And the final thing is, notice these little lines and these signs. You just want to aim right underneath these lines. Not at them, but right underneath. That'll help with the consistency. So let's actually do it now. We're going to go this way, just to show you that this tunnel where the silverfish just came through also works. So we'll go and launch. That's the first note. Try and line up as best as we can. That's decent. Right underneath. 2, 3. We jump. And we get launched. Alright, so now to explain kind of what's going on. Sorry, I didn't realize as well that the audio of the previous recording, you couldn't actually hear the note blocks, so I'll just do the launch again so you can kind of hear the timings of them. But I try and give you a lot of time so that you can actually position yourself and guide yourself and everything like that before you would actually launch. So that is the timing in terms of the actual launch there. As you can see, it's quite a bit, and I felt like making it that long gives the player ample amount of time to adjust, and you should already know which direction you want to go. So this is just for kind of positioning yourself with the target block and aiming under the line like so that you can actually get launched. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and explain how this works. So the first thing about wind elytra cannons is the theory of taking a splash of a wind charge potion. So let's come over here so I can show you guys. So you would take wind charge potion, throw it at some mobs, and when they die, they will have the wind charge effect on them and therefore knock you around. So if you spawn a bunch of silverfish and you do this and then you were to kill him, one sec, I'll get the command here in a second, like so, that would happen. So you would be propelled by the wind charge, and with your elytra while gliding, you basically can maintain that momentum with the glide and go a long distance. So that's the gist of it. Now, in terms of actually using this cannon properly, you did see the steps for it. There is one thing that you do have to do before you actually launch yourself, and that is if you want more than, let's say, 40 silverfish worth of ammo, then you do have to place a vine on one of these furnaces next to this stone slab here. So if you grab a vine, that'll be fine. Ladder works as well. You can use either, it doesn't really matter, and you don't have to place vines on both of them, just one will be completely fine. And this will allow you now to have as many silverfish as you want, more than 40 basically. Any less than 40 you don't need to place a vine here, but that is the one downside, I guess, of O.D.E.N compared to some other cannons, is you do have to manually place the vines or the ladders for that. There wasn't a convenient way that I can get around that without getting insanely complex with the cannon or whatever, because I feel like it was already getting quite big by the time that we were finished. So the thought process behind how it actually works is that, as you saw earlier, taking again heavy inspiration from non-Untitled's design, you spawn a bunch of silverfish from armadillos. Armadillos are very consistent in terms of being able to spawn silverfish. With a campfire, not a soul campfire, it has to be a normal campfire. Whenever they are around any undead mob, they will get scared and hide in a ball. And while they're in this ball form, they reduce their incoming damage by 1 and then 50% of the remaining damage. Now, if you're unaware, normal campfires do only 1 damage a tick. So they basically are negating 100% of the campfire's damage, and that's why they're able to just chill here. And every time they get hit, they spawn silverfish from the infestation potions. Then they'll eventually get pushed down here, so let's go ahead and see that. Oh, 1 second. So what's actually happening here is, if we go ahead and turn it on, as you see, the trapdoor will start flipping and such, the lava will go away, and this actually allows the silverfish to drop down. And then if we were to open the chest here, silverfish will start flowing in, either directly from the top here or getting pushed by the slime block. Now if you notice, some of the silverfish do actually die when they drop down here. And that is if you don't have a vine. If you have a vine down, the silverfish will not die from the fall damage. At least most of them will not die. But as you see here, we're already up to 100. And then when we actually arm, again, some silverfish will get caught up top the glass block, and some of them will get suffocated. But otherwise, any that don't get to the kill chamber, you can be rest assured that they will get removed from suicide, basically, or suffocation. We did get a couple suffocations there, but if we go ahead and put this tick rate to 5 again, and we turn this off, you see all these guys will kill themselves as expected, and that's what we want. And now we have just a bunch of silverfish here ready for ready to be killed. Now in terms of the mechanism here, I feel like it's fairly simple, but if you weren't aware, it's basically just pushing silverfish from the holding chamber into the kill chamber here with a slime block, and careful piston movement to ensure that they stay contained as much as possible. If you're wondering why it has to be from the side like this, if they just land on scaffolding, it's not enough. They have to be pushed in from the side in order to properly climb the scaffolding and therefore prevent entity cramming. Other than that though, I feel like honestly it's just a bunch of circuits to kind of make sure that this all works, but also to keep everything kind of safe. So all the silverfish down here are ready, and we just use a bunch of falling edge circuits plus pulse extenders to ensure that we have the correct timing and everything. In terms of these blocks, if you're wondering if these have to be furnaces, they absolutely have to be. Furnaces are basically the cheapest immovable block when it comes to slime blocks. So yeah, very survival friendly. Just use furnaces here and you'll be all good. But other than that, I think the cannon kind of speaks for itself. If you're wondering why we're using pressure plates, if you're unaware of the way that wind chargers work, they actually will flick all buttons and levers. They'll activate them all, and it can lead to the cannon just continuously looping or firing or just messing it up every time you were to launch. So pressure plates are completely unaffected by this, as well as of course trap chests, and this is why the arrangement is so weird, and also why the blocks like this are positioned like so you can't accidentally step on them. You have to glide with your elytra to actually hit these. So overall, this was the best compromise I could find for simplicity's sake with the design, that didn't just have it just continuously loop like you see with some other wind electric cannons, because the button is just too close and the wind charge is too powerful. But other than that, we can see it get secured here. Like so. Oh, sorry. In creative it's a little difficult, but we do this here. And just like that, it's now secured. And if you're curious, obviously the reason for this switching out is we do need an opening so we can be affected by the wind charge and gain more of that propellant since we have more exposure. But that's basically it. So I launched this way last time. We can choose to launch another direction and you'll see that it all works. And we should probably do that since I'm dropping frames here. So let's choose this direction this time. The audio might be off sync because of OBS, but trust me when I say that I am jumping after the third note block here. So we'll line up, looking down. That's decent. Look underneath. And we jump. And just like that. And as you see, that was far more silverfish, so we do get launched a lot farther. And because we have so much ascent, we can definitely glide back here pretty safely, probably without using any fireworks. But that's basically the cannon. I will leave a schematic download. I'm not obviously going to make a tutorial on this. I feel like it's far too unpolished and conceptual to do that. But like I said, I'll leave the schematic so that you can download it and build it yourself. And in terms of the materials and everything like that, it's not too crazy. A lot of the platform will be included in the schematic, so you can cut that out just by editing that in Lightmatica, and that'll make it easier on your end. But other than that, this will take you up to 30,000 plus blocks. If you get the max amount of silverfish and you just leave it running until the infestation potion runs out. For 3 minutes, you let all the silverfish funnel in, you will get around 30,000 blocks. So wherever you want to go, you don't want to be using fireworks, you want to get somewhere quick, use O.D.E.N, and that'll get the job done. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I would say I would see you guys next time, but I'm not actually a YouTuber, so probably not. But I might post another video maybe in the future. Peace out.